Were Freddie and Sam always meant to be together? Why is their love story so complicated? Most importantly, where are they now, and how will their romance play out in the upcoming iCarly reboot? Let's dive right in.
Shut it!
Frenemies first. There's only one way to start this story, and that's right at the very beginning.
Hey, you invited the doof! Sam.
Oh, man! I didn't know that was gonna be here.
Every TV fan knows that the best relationships are often a slow burn. Well, you can't really get slower than Sam and Freddie's relationship. When iCarly first started, Sam couldn't stand Freddie, and Freddie wasn't that keen on Sam either. They had that kind of love-hate relationship that a lot of characters have, but at the start, fans would never have imagined that they would eventually end up together. Sam was always there, ready to throw some shade Freddie's way whenever they got a chance. Freddie wasn't quite as cutting with his comments as Sam was, but then again, who is? Carly was often stuck in the middle, trying to keep the peace, but that's why they made such a good trio. They all balanced each other out, and each one was totally different. Not only did the way the characters act towards each other make it seem like it would never happen, but this was a kids' show. When iCarly first aired, Jeanette McCurdy was just 15 and Nathan Kress was 14, so they were a little young to be an on-screen couple. As their characters developed and the seasons ticked by, fans started picking up on little hints that the duo might eventually end up together, but no one could have predicted just how much of a roller coaster it would be, or how tragic the ending was. There's a first time for everything. In one episode, Freddie ends up admitting to Carly that he's actually never kissed a girl before. He's pretty down about it and thinks it makes him a bit of a dork, but we all know that's not true. Carly tries to make him feel better about it, but there's only one thing that eventually helps. Freddie doesn't want anyone to know, but Sam is out of view the whole time, listening to his conversation with Carly, and man, she's not about to let it go. During a show, she completely calls him out on it, which possibly makes her the worst friend ever. However, even Sam Puckett has a conscience, and after she realizes just how much damage she's done to Freddie and how badly he's getting teased, she tries to make it right.
And that was really personal, and I shouldn't have said it on the show. And for all you people out there who've been teasing Freddie about it, lay off. Because I bet a whole lot of you haven't kissed anyone either.
This is where things get a little steamy. After apologizing on the show, she tells the world that she hasn't ever kissed anyone either. When she talks to Freddie about it, they end up locking lips for the first time. Of course, it's awkward as heck, but it's one of the sweetest moments between the two characters.
I hate you.
Hate you too.
This is one of the biggest first hints we get that something else is going on here. The kiss that never happened. So in a normal TV show, this might be the moment that changes everything, right? The two characters kiss, then they fall madly in love and do all the usual couple things. Well, this is iCarly, and things weren't really that easy. After the kiss, both Freddie and Sam pretend like it never happened, and they're back to hating each other with a passion. However, writers did start to drop some more hints that Sam maybe didn't dislike Freddie quite as much as she used to. In one episode, she walks in and finds Freddie and Carly slow dancing. You can tell by the look on her face that she feels really put out. She turns around and leaves straight away, so it's obvious that there's something going on there. But things don't get really real until the season 4 episode, IOMG. Freddie decides to look at Sam's face through an app called Mood Face that iCarly's intern Brad created. It tells him that she's in love with someone, but it doesn't say who it is. It could be anyone, but Freddie and Carly are convinced that it must be Brad. Little do they know that it's actually Freddie Sam wants. A little while later, Freddie catches Sam alone and starts to talk to her about the importance of telling people how you feel. And finally, after years of waiting, Sam kisses Freddie properly. And it's not a short kiss either. It turns out that Sam has been secretly in love with Freddie for a long time, which is why she insults any girl he ever brings around. By this point, it was obvious to us, but Freddie was shocked. The show that changed it all. After that kiss and finally facing her feelings, Sam doesn't really know how Freddie feels. In fact, she thinks that she's probably gone insane, and that's why she has these feelings in the first place. But as we all know, that's just love talking. Eventually, they finally get it together, but in a way that's 100% iCarly. Freddie finally admits that he's into Sam by kissing her live on air, and they start dating soon after. It's a love story for the modern age, right? They're super cute for a hot minute, but then things start to go wrong. Before long, they're arguing again, and it looks like they don't even like each other, let alone love each other. Even Carly starts asking the question, are they really meant to be together, or is it just a casual fling? A sad ending. Young love is always pretty hard to deal with. It's not all sunshine, rainbows, and awkward high school dances. In the episode I Love You in Season 5, Sam and Freddie end up having a very serious relationship talk in the elevator after overhearing a conversation that Carly has. It makes them realize that even though they have that solid connection, they're just not meant to be. Fans were heartbroken when these two called it quits, especially because the scene was so touching.
I just don't know if you and me really click that way.
Yeah.
So did we just break up?
Feels like it.
Both of them were clearly upset and didn't want it to end. They just couldn't see another way. After they break up, they hug it out and kiss for the last time, telling each other they love each other. Although iCarly goes on for a little while longer, despite what we were all hoping for, Sam and Freddie never get back together. It's clear that there's still a lot of love there, but these two lovebirds fly off in opposite directions. The biggest change of all. Things really switched up at the end of iCarly when Sam, Carly, and Freddie all went their separate ways. It's no secret that Freddie also had a thing with Carly. Ever since the start of the show, Freddie made it clear that he always had a crush on her, and in Season 3, they briefly dated, albeit for just one episode. While some fans think that Freddie and Sam's relationship was way more serious, it's actually Carly and Freddie that share a little goodbye kiss in the final episode of the series. Carly goes to live with her dad, Sam heads to LA, but that's not the last time we see Freddie. He eventually pops up in Jeanette McCurdy and Ariana Grande's spin-off series, Sam and Cat. In the 23rd episode of the show, Grande's character Kat steals Sam's phone and secretly lies to him, telling him Sam has been in an accident. When he shows up, she hangs out with Freddie to try and make Sam jealous. Sadly for us, they're still just friends. So what happens next for these two? Freddie and Sam's interesting future. When a show ends, it can be the most frustrating thing in the world for fans. We want to know what our characters are doing and where they end up, just like real people. So when news of an iCarly reboot hit the headlines in 2020, we were super excited. Nathan Crest and Miranda Cosgrove have both confirmed they're on board, but it looks like Jeanette McCurdy is out. The actress hasn't even spoken about it, but we do know that her experience with Nickelodeon wasn't exactly a positive one. She struggled with her body image while working on both iCarly and Sam and Cat, but her problems didn't end there. She also lost her mom to breast cancer at that time and ended up leaving Sam and Cat when Nick allegedly wouldn't give her pay equal to Ariana's. Nickelodeon had hoped that the show would stick around for a few more seasons, but it ended abruptly. If it had carried on, maybe we would have had more guest appearances from Freddie. McCurdy is still close with her co-stars, but she's openly admitted that she hasn't made peace with that time in her life yet. With that being said, we may never know what the future really had in store for Sam Puckett. As for Freddie, we'll learn about that very soon. Nathan Kress recently shared a picture of himself, Miranda, and Jerry Traynor on the new set, so exciting things are definitely happening. The last we knew, Freddie was living in an apartment in Seattle, so seeing him as a fully fledged adult is going to be mind-blowing. Who knows, he could even end up having another little fling with Carly. As much as we would love to know what Sam's up to now, we really have no idea. As Sam and Cat ended without a proper finale, there really wasn't a proper ending for the character. We would absolutely love for Jeanette McCurdy to have a change of heart and return to the reboot. But if that was to happen, would Sam get back together with Freddie? The jury is out on that one. What do you think? Were Sam and Freddie always meant to be, or should Freddie have been with Carly? Let us know what you think in the comments.